How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about FAMI, or sorry, it is Farmmi. The ticker symbol is FAMI. This has been one of the plays we've had inside the daily morning watch list for about a couple days, and I was like, you know what? It's about time we share this on YouTube. I can't forget about my YouTube family. I want to make sure I keep you guys inside of the loop. This is the play that has been seeing a good amount of momentum, but there are some key things that I really want you guys to know about, especially if you're going to decide to trade this play going into tomorrow. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you are a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to see what is the technical setup really looking like going into tomorrow, so you can add it with your homework and as well as your due diligence. And then afterwards, we're going to go on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information and as well taking a look at recent institutional ownership. There's some golden nuggets in there I'm going to be sharing within the final thoughts, but you got to make sure you watch that portion of the video. And then we're going to take a look at the order flow distribution. The reason why this is important, we want to know, were institutions loading up on shares today? It had quite the day, so I want to make sure as far as institutions are concerned, are they going to be getting involved? That's very important. And then when all of that is done, we're going to be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details, so let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis on Farmmi. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at 34 cents, being up 41.25%. On the low, it tested 22 cents, and then on the high, testing 36 cents. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, it traded at 755.763 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days being at 191.365 million shares. When we take a look at the RSI down below, of course, we already know it's going to be in the overbought territory here. It has been on quite the run. So I was talking about this play inside of the daily morning watches for the past 2 days now. So I'm like, you know, let me share it over on YouTube. Now, as far as how is it looking, if this play is able to continue its run, one thing you're going to want to see hold up going into the open tomorrow will be right here around 33 cents. You're going to want to see some strength there. Also, if it decides to pull back even further, then you're going to want to see some strength right here around 31 cents. As far as for the high on the day, it ended up testing 36.90. So one thing to keep in mind here, in the after hours, it's getting close to around 40 cents. So I would not be chasing this whatsoever, especially going inside of the pre-market. Instead, I'll be waiting for that pullback, and then I would make sure I'd have a tight stop loss in place. So when I was talking about, hey, right here around this 31 cent level, and also seeing her here around 33 cent, the only time I'd walk away from this play, unless you just literally just broke right through the 21-day EMA, and then I'd want to see how well it would hold up around 29 cents, but hey, I probably wouldn't even touch it anyways. But just taking that in mind, what you want to look for is when it comes to particular parabolic plays like these are higher lows, and that's exactly what we're getting from FAMI here. And there is a potential where it could still run, especially if you end up getting the same amount of volume that has been picking up over the days. And again, 755 million in volume is nothing to laugh at here. That is very high. A continuation can really bump this stock up to where possibly it can get to around 50 cents. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership for Farmmi as well as the short interest information. So the green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So as we could see, most recently we have Virtu Financial LLC that purchased 202,062 shares. We also have Blackstone with a new position, and we also see we have Morgan Stanley went in with a new position. So nothing too substantial aside from Virtu, which they are well known for being a company that is heavy when it comes into short selling, as well as if we can see here is from the part ownership of Savvy Management, well-known short sellers right there as well. So now when we take a look at the short interest information, scrolling down on the page, short shares availability is at 5.8 million, and as far as for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 7.86%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume ratio, we can see for to close of the 27th, it was at 56.59, and the close yesterday, it was at 55.96. So this play is going to have a lot of short squeeze potential. But one thing to do keep in mind, like we saw from the recent institutional owners, these are some well-known short sellers who are on this list. They are known for bringing the price of stocks up and then shorting it back down. So I just want you to know there's going to be a lot of volatility in this play. So just make sure you have the right risk management in place. And in the final thoughts, I'll try to make sure that we get the most updated short volume ratio numbers. So now let's jump into the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for FAMI. Right, it's Farmmi, ticker symbol FAMI. So if you take a look at the breakdown, it is inflow 52.91, and then on the outflow it is at 45.60. So of course we ended up having an inflow day. Come on, we're up like 40% on the day here. Now when we take a look at the breakdown, on the large it was 6.32, and then on the medium it was 32.39, and then on the small it was at 14.20. Taking a look at the outflow side, on the large it was 7.32, and then taking a look at the medium it was 27.24, and then on the small it was 11.04. I think I said this already, but keep in mind this is in the millions. And then when we take a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, ended up being the outflow winning out on that side, being at 998.71. But one thing that we can clearly see, institutions were loading up on large scale orders. And then when we take a look at what was going down on the small, yes, there was a lot of retail that was buying into this. So a lot of traders and people like you and I buying in. And then when we take a look at the medium, there was a lot of purchasing as well. The only discrepancy, like we covered, was on the large side, and it was mainly leaning towards outflows. So with all of this said, you're going to have to be really dependent on volume when it comes to this overall play. It has been picking up quite a bit. As far as for the technical setup on the chart, it really does look pretty good, but of course we need to look at other factors, and that is demand, and demand contributes to overall volume. And there's also some other key things that I want you to know when it comes to this play, because I think it's going to help overall with your risk management and know what you're getting involved with if you're going to decide to trade this. So let's jump into the final thoughts, and we'll talk about that right now. So for my final thoughts for Farmmi, I'm definitely going to keep this play on the radar. Like I was saying previously, this has been on our daily morning watch list for quite some time, and if there's strength inside of the pre-market, I will continue to put it on there. Now, as far as for the short volume ratio is concerned, it still is around 50%. That is a range that it's been in for quite some time, so it continues to have short squeeze potential. So the one thing that I want to bring to your attention here when it comes to this play, the 3 institutions that are involved in it, I do not like them whatsoever. They're very known when it comes to manipulating stocks, well-known short sellers, pretty much buying in, bringing the price down. And also one of those companies that you are aware of is Citadel. So Citadel does have some interest in this play. We also have Virtu, which is easily well known for being in a lot of plays that get easily manipulated and so forth. And then we also have Sabi. Sabi is well known for this as well. So I want you to be very cautious if you're going to be inside of this play. As far as going into the open tomorrow, if it does decide to pull back, then I'll be very curious to see how well it could hold up 30 cents. If it looks like it's holding it up fairly well and there's some confirmation there, then I'll be thinking about getting into a position. But I'm only going to go in there if the technical setup presents itself. Also, I do know for a fact this play thrives on a lot of volume here. So that buying pressure is going to really push this stock to the upside. I saw it inside of the after hours. I think it got as high as 40 cents. We're talking about earlier today, I think this stock was as low as around 22 cents. So keeping that in mind, this play is very volatile, and I don't want you going into this play if you're not going to be attentive. I said it before and I'm going to say it again. This is not the type of play where you buy some shares and you put your phone down or you turn your computer off and you walk away. No, 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 no. Don't do that. I want to make sure I really emphasize that. I don't want any bag holders out there, and usually when you are bag holding, that's when you let emotions and greed get in the way, and also not having the right proper risk management, making sure that you're limiting your overall exposure, and whatever capital that you do decide to commit to a particular play, you can't be afraid to lose it. I'm not just saying to go out there and throw your money in the stock market. That's okay. No, yes, go in with the position, but just make sure that you're wise about it. Don't just say, well, you know what, I'm going into this position so I can pay my rent for this month or something like that, or pay for my next car. please do not do that. But I just want to make sure you guys are aware of that. As far as for the technical setup, like I was saying before previously, I really like it. There is a gap fill around 80 cents. So will this play run from the 30-cent range all the way to 80 cents? Hey, that would be the best case scenario. But there would be some resistance around 60 cents. But before you even consider that, I'd feel like we need to get to at least 50 cents first and then see what ends up happening. See if there's any selling pressure. See what the volume is looking like. We did get to around 40 cents in the after hours. I think it kind of pulled back a little bit. I think I saw like it was around 38. So it'd be very interesting to see what happens going into tomorrow. Keep an eye on that volume inside of the pre-market, and if it continues to look bullish as how it's been looking for the past couple, it's been some days now, then of course I'm going to be looking forward to seeing a strong move to the upside. And if you haven't done so already, please check out that link to join the Discord. We are a family in there. We have been crushing it on plays. We crushed it on some lucid puts. When the CEO came out and said, well, you know what, we're gonna have to raise some more money, and I was like, it's time to buy some puts. And then also we did trade on CEI. I for myself, I was only able to get 10% on that. I didn't get to enjoy the entire run up. I was in some other plays as well. But hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll be talking real soon.